Today we're going to be reading Helping the World's Poorest Children Unit 10B in Starlight, okay? Now I'm going to read through this with you. I want you all to look through the pictures and have a think what you think we are going to be reading about. Where do you think these children are from? What type of lives do you think these children lead, okay? Now, as you already know, any of the words that are written in bold, what you're going to do is you're going to have a think about what they mean and you're going to look them up to make sure that you know the meaning. I'm not going to give you the meaning of the word. If we were in the classroom, we would just be discussing the meaning of the word and we'd be all helping each other, but I don't want to give you the answer. So what I want you all to do is, if you're not sure of the meaning, you're going to take out your dictionary and you're going to look it up, okay? So well done. So, helping the world's poorest children. Wherever they live around the world, all children have the same basic needs and rights. Here are some of the most important things all children should have for a happy and healthy life. 1. Nutritious food and water that is safe to drink. 2. Access to healthcare if they are ill. A safe place to live with their own family if possible. A peaceful place to live where life isn't threatened by other people. A good education. Opportunities to play and rest. Unfortunately, not all children have these things. In fact, some children who live in war, famine, or natural disasters have none of these things. Okay, so imagine how that would feel. Now, looking out for children. So who helps these children? Sometimes governments help by providing education and healthcare and by making sure that adults have enough money to support their families. But sometimes governments in developing countries aren't able to help because they don't have enough money. If a big natural disaster affects thousands of people in a developing country, for example, the government might not be able to help all these people. This is where development charities come in. These are charities that work to support people in the poorest communities all around the world. There are lots of development charities based in Ireland, but one of the best known is Trócaire. So I'm sure you've all heard of Trócaire before. What does Trócaire do? Trócaire was founded in 1973 by the Catholic Church in Ireland. It has two main aims: to support the most vulnerable people in the developing world. So what does that word vulnerable mean? To raise awareness in Ireland about poverty and injustice around the world. So what do you think that word injustice means? Trócaire helps more than 2.5 million people around the world each year. It works in over 20 countries in Asia, Africa, Latin America, and the Middle East. Here's just a flavour of what work Trócaire does to help poor and vulnerable people around the world. So in Nepal, in 2015, a huge earthquake struck, killing nearly 9,000 people and destroying many thousands of homes. Trócaire immediately sent teams of specialist workers to help local people cope with the aftermath of the disasters. What do you think that word aftermath means? Several years later, Trócaire is still working in the region to help people rebuild their homes and lives. South Sudan. In this extremely poor and war-torn country, Trócaire helps thousands of people who have lost their homes because of continuing war. And in Syria, so we read about Syria and Aleppo the other day, and a little girl who lived there. So now we're going to find out a bit more about their country. So over half the people of Syria have been forced to leave their homes because of war. Many of these people are living in refugee camps in other countries. Trócaire provides food, shelter, and other support to thousands of Syrian refugees. Okay, now, where does the money come from? People in Ireland donate money to support Trócaire's life-saving work. Trócaire also gets donations from other organisations, including the Irish government. The charity spends around 94% of the money it receives on projects to help poor people. The remaining 6% is spent on fundraising. Trócaire works with whole communities to help them solve the problems they face. This helps both children and grown-ups. Here's a case study that shows how Trócaire helped one girl and her family, and in 2018 Irish people donated over €29 million to Trócaire to help. Okay, so now we're going to read about Cumba's story. So we have pictures of Kumba and her siblings, and this is what they have faced. So in August 2017, a disaster happened on the outskirts of Freetown, the capital of Sierra Leone in West Africa. There was a devastating mudslide caused by flooding. It took just 4 minutes for the mud to cascade down the hillside and ruin hundreds of homes. So, what do you think that word means? Cascade down the hillside and ruin hundreds of homes. 7-year-old Kumba lived there with her family until the mudslide destroyed their house. They were lucky to be alive, but they still had massive problems. The family had nowhere to live, and Kumba's mum and dad had no way to earn money. All the equipment they needed for their jobs had been destroyed in the mudslide. All Kumba's school books and all of her possessions were gone as well. Kumba and her family had to go and live in a children's home with many other people who had lost their homes. Trokra quickly helped them by giving them a pack containing things such as towels, soap, toothbrushes, kettles, plates, and other essential items so they could keep clean and cook. Trokra also gave the children school kits containing books, pens, and other equipment so they could get back to their education quickly. After the disaster, Trokra carried on helping Kumba's family and others in the same situation, while the people rebuilt their homes and lives, okay? So that's very sad what happened to Kumba, so you're just going to read over that one more time on your own, in your own time, okay? And conclusion. Life is extremely hard for children living in many parts of the world, especially where there are wars and famines and natural disasters. However, development charities like Trokra give us a way to help these children and their families by working with local people to solve problems and find a way to build a better life. Okay? So what we're going to do now, I want you all to answer the questions on A and B. So what kind of water do all children need? So what do you think? What type of water do we all need? Who helps children when governments can't help them? What are the two main things Trokra tries to do? How did Trokra help people in Nepal in 2015? What problems did Kumba and her family have after the mudslide? And why do you think Trokra goes on helping after a disaster is over? And then we have our read between the lines questions. How do you think Kumba felt after the disaster? In your own words, explain why development charities are needed. Why do you think people in Ireland give money to Trokra? Why was it important for Kumba to get back to school quickly? And what might have happened to Kumba without Trokra? And which of the things listed on page 116 do you think are most important and why? So what I want you all to do is I want you all to go back and read over the story, and you're going to answer your questions. And don't forget your margin and your title and your date, okay? And nice neat writing when you're writing your answers. So well done, Rona.